What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel, giving a shout out to the rest of the crew. Shad, Kelvin, KB Film Room, Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right, that's right. For everyone who's tuning in, thank you for supporting Behind the Bench. Subscribe to the channel. Help make the show the best that it can be. And we may as well get right to it. No time to waste. No waste of time, because last night we got a real reality check. We got a reality check for the ages, boy. And I'm telling you, man, that's one of those moments last night where you know whatever you was thinking, scrap it. Whatever you was thinking before that game last night, scrap it, because reality hit. And she hit hard. And I'm talking about the Denver Nuggets and what they did to the Los Angeles Lakers last night. That was as brutal. That was as devastating and dominating a performance you're going to see from a team that has owned another team over the past, you may well say, over the course of the past three and a half seasons. And was crazy when this domination started. Ironically, the last time outside of game 4 of the first round series last year between these two teams, when the Lakers did beat them at home. Outside of that game, the last time the Lakers defeated the Nuggets was in the game where Anthony Davis got hurt and injured his foot. That was about, I want to say, 2 months into the 22-23 season. And it was crazy when AD suffered that foot injury. Thomas Bryant, an original draftee of the Lakers back in 2017, the Lakers brought him back and signed him to a 1-year deal, vet minimum. And they inserted him to the game, and he actually, for that brief, for the rest of that game down the stretch, he actually caught Jokic off guard. And I played him. And the Lakers regained the lead, took control, and proceeded to win that game. Outside of that, and I'm a Laker fan to the core. I'm a lifelong Laker fan to the core. But remember what happened opening night last year when Denver, during their ring ceremony, when they opening night, when they received their championship rings and raised their championship band to the rafters. Weeks going into that game, you had a lot of the players on the Lakers saying they couldn't wait to face Denver and what they was planning on doing and how they was going to exact revenge. And on opening night, man, Denver opened up the can, beat the Lakers by I think it was something like 18, 19 points. And the Denver crowd was yelling out, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?" And I'm telling you, man, this is real, man. This is real. And this is the difference. When you see these two teams. Now, mind you, there's always a team out there that kind of has your number. For every team in the league. Someone there's teams that match up well with Denver. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the course of the season. We saw what Minnesota did to Denver in the playoffs last year and beat them in 7 games. Came back down from a 3-2 deficit to pull that off. On the road, matter of fact. Nonetheless, Denver has championship resolve. And it's hard to repeat. That's one thing. It's hard to repeat in this league. It's hard to repeat in general in team sports. But man, oh man, boy, they lowered the boom last night. They went on to defeat the Lakers by the score of 127-102. They beat the Lakers in LA by 25. They beat them by 25. That means the team is better than you. No matter what you do, man, the talking heads was making all these excuses, blaming former coach Darvin Ham, saying that, they need to bring in a big, they need to get a rim protector and all this jazz. At the end of the day, their team is just better, man. At the end of the day, it's almost like what happened last night, because the Lakers had to lead at halftime by 6. I think the score was something like 63-57, something to that effect. And then they got into a 10-point lead. And then the destruction started, man. And Denver went on to outscore the Lakers by the tune of like a 50-17 stretch. They outscored them 50-17. They outscored them by 31 points in the second half, alone. This reminds me of, for all the Rocky fans out there, Rocky IV, when Apollo Creed was going to fight Drago in an exhibition bout. Apollo Creed feeling good, saying, I feel better than I ever did. I feel stronger. I feel quicker. He got in that ring, man. He was, trying to play to the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Throwing jabs. And Drago was just standing pat, man. Wasn't saying, because he had never talked. You know what I'm saying? He was just quiet as a church mouse. And he was just, like I said, he was just standing pat, man. And as soon as his trainer said, Associate. As soon as he said, Associate, he started throwing one haymaker after the next, man. So much so, Apollo Creed didn't know what hit him, man. He didn't know what hit him, dog. That was Mike Malone last night. Mike Malone was the trainer, and Drago was the Denver Nuggets, and particularly Nikola Jokic, man. And, I see things for what it is. And there's been this talk that, that Anthony Davis and LeBron James, the Hurricane, is better than Nikola Jokic. But the fact of the matter is Nikola Jokic is better than both of them, dog. It is what it is. But Denver's a team that's been building up over the course of the past 6-7 years. They have a system, man. They have a system. So, also, they continuously drafted players. Christian Braun, Peyton Watson. You know what I'm saying? And they made a contribution on their court last night. In Denver, they did lose some quality, some key players on their championship team. They lost Jeff Green. They lost Kentavious Caldwell-Pope this past offseason. And they lost Bruce Brown. They lost him. But this is the importance of drafting players, man. You develop them, so when a situation arises where a player has lost to free agency, you can fill that player in. Now, it may take them some time to adjust and to excel, but eventually, developing them, putting them in good situations, trusting them and believing in them, they'll rise to the occasion. That's what happened last night. The other team has been led to shuffle the deck, bring this guy in, bring that guy in. So you lack chemistry, and when you flipping this roster like this at this rate that the Lakers have been led to do over the past 6-7 years, you really don't believe in what you're doing, and you'll never solve the riddle, and you'll never find a piece of the puzzle. It's such a separation between the two teams that you have fans, of the purple and gold, or the talking heads in general. Let's just say talking heads in general. They say, oh, man, the Lakers need to bring Dwight Howard back. He locked down Nikola Jokic in the playoff, in the bubble. But if you go back and look at that series, man, number one, the Lakers had a pseudo super team out there. And it was one game where Howard threw Jokic off his game. I'm talking about the Nikola Jokic that we've come to see over the past 4 or 5 years. I ain't talking about starting out. They was triple teaming Jokic. It wasn't just Dwight Howard. It was Dwight Howard, AD, and JaVale McGee who was on the team that year. And at game one, Jokic got in early foul trouble along with Jamal Murray. They was assessed 3 fouls before the end of that first half. After that game, now the Lakers went on to win the series. But after that game, Jokic averaged about 23, 24 points. He averaged something like about 22 points that series. Well, that was 4 seasons ago. That man is way better now. That man is way better. Going through that experience, going through that series made him better. You see what I'm saying? Denver wasn't sitting there. The one key change that they made was making that trade for Aaron Gordon to upgrade the power forward position that was being assigned to. I wish your boy's name played with Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap was way past his prime, man. But they got the final piece to the puzzle. But what I'm trying to say is, man, that was 4 years ago. And if people forget, the Lakers brought Howard back for a third time for the 21-22 season. He was 37 years old then. And by All-Star break, he fatigued out. So he hasn't played in the NBA since. So you mean to tell me that you're going to bring back a player who, number one, who's near the end of his career, number two, is closer to 40 than he is 30. Number three, he hasn't played in the league since the 21-22 season. And you're going to stick him out there and they think that he's going to be able to do something with Jokic? What I'm trying to say is, man, the get for the Los Angeles Lakers, like I said, I love that team to death. I love that team to death, man. But they have to accept the fact, man, that they threw all their chips in for that one season. You see what I'm saying? They threw the chips in for one season. It is what it is. And this is why you're supposed to stay with your players. You're going to give yourself a larger window to succeed. You won't be in panic mode every year. Then the Hurricane, last night's game, Jokic had darn near a 30-point triple-double. I think he had something like 34 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. But it was good to see Russell Westbrook, because Russell Westbrook, what happened to him that season he had with the Lakers, man, I won't wish that on nobody. He was set up to be the all-time scapegoat. His career almost ended after that experience. Prior to being traded to the Lakers, that man was averaging a 24-point triple-double with the Wizards. Led the Wizards to the playoffs when Bradley Beal, the star player, the franchise player, was injured. And Westbrook led him to the playoffs playing some of his best basketball of his career. So I'm glad, he was traded from the Lakers to Utah. Utah bought him out, and he signed with the Clippers. The Clippers released him after this past season, and he just signed with the Nuggets. And I know he felt good last night, man, because what happened to him during that experience, man, it almost made you want to cut the game off because he was set up. You talking about being a scapegoat? And I let you know what happened last night. It had nothing to do with Russell Westbrook. They had nothing to do with Westbrook. Didn't have nothing to do with Darvin Ham. So I'm going to share what I think happened. That gave a lot of Laker fans a false sense of being headed in the right direction. Midway during that 22-23 season, the Lakers were in the play-in. They was like around the same record, same place in the standings as Oklahoma City. Oklahoma OKC had beat them in LA. They was on their way to missing the playoffs for the second straight year. For the second straight year, they was on their way to missing the playoffs. And they got saved with that just a total overhaul, brand new squad. They brought in a whole bunch of young players, which it definitely should indicate once and for all how much they miss their own talent. Because that overhaul consisted of majority young, actually all young players. Outside of D'Angelo Russell. Even then, D'Angelo Russell, he's not even 30 years old yet. So he's in his prime. So you traded for a prime basketball player who you drafted. You traded for Vanderbilt, who was like about 24, somewhere around there, 25. Hachimura was about 24 at the time. Malik Beasley, who went on to sign with the Milwaukee Bucks after leaving the Lakers. I believe he's playing for the Detroit Pistons now. Mo Bamba, who was gone by season's end. He was traded from the Orlando Magic in the Patrick Beverley trade. Patrick Beverley got traded to Orlando for Bamba, who's now playing for the Clippers as the backup to Ivica Zubac, who's third in the league in rebounding, by the way. Tied with Nikola Jokic for most 15 rebound games in the season. And then during the off season, Lakers went to the Western Conference Finals with that lineup. Okay. Then you sign all these other young players, Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, Taurean Prince, who signed a 1-year deal. He's now with Milwaukee. Gabe Vincent, who has not been effective since playing for the Lakers. Christian Wood, who's out due to injury. So when you made that overhaul, the other teams in the league was playing with pretty much the same roster that they started the season with. So the league hadn't had enough time to scout the new team. Now they've pretty much done it. And what they're finding out is people want to blame Darvin Ham for the past 2 seasons as to why they lost to Denver or not. The issue is Jared Vanderbilt is not a starter. He's a reserve player. So if you go back and look at this series, if you go back and look at that playoff in 2023, they beat a Memphis team in the first round who was dealing with injuries. They was missing a starting center and a backup center. John Morant was dealing with his off-court stuff, so he probably wasn't all the way focused. Then he suffered a wrist injury. And the Lakers won this series in 6 games. Then the second round, they played Golden State. They beat Golden State in 6 games. Golden State had no center on their team. Now, I'm talking about no true, because they traded James Wiseman to Detroit and to bring back Gary Payton III. So Anthony Davis just feasted in that series, and they went on to win in 6 games. And then they ran into the buzzsaw, the most complete team in the Western Conference that year. They was seasoned, battle tested, and ready to rise as champions. They ran to the Joker. Okay, so what I'm saying is, Darvin Ham found out as they advanced to each round in the playoffs, he gave Vanderbilt less minutes on the court because he couldn't match up with Aaron Gordon. Hachimura is not a starter. He lost his starting job in Washington to the very Laker who was traded there in the Westbrook trade, Kyle Kuzma. He lost his job to him within less than 2 months. Okay, so what I'm getting at is, in the playoffs, it's all about, as we know, the play slows down. Each possession becomes more important. It becomes by matchups, execution. Well, the cream rises to the top. Hachimura is not a starter. Now during the course of regular season, man, he'll get hot, man. He'll drop a 20 spot on you. He'll drop a 20 spot. But when it's playoff time, you can't take low tier players and reserve players just because they playing with two superstars and they have undefined roles, and you stick them into a situation where you playing a prime team like Denver, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. So that's pretty much what's going on now. Then you have other teams that's rising. OKC, Houston Rockets gotten off to a better start than last year. Minnesota's still trying to figure their way out, but I think they'll start to play better. I would say by the beginning of the year. I mean, you even got a team like San Antonio. San Antonio's 9-8 after 17 games. You see what I'm saying? So it's Golden State is off to a tremendous start. Clippers they done won like 6 straight games. I think they like it's a 4-game winning streak. I think it's like a 4-game winning streak. Okay, so what I'm saying is, man, when you give it all away for 1 year, your window it's that 1 year. Now it may not look like it when you get the so-called desired result up front, but man, you're gonna lose ground so fast, man. You're gonna be like, what in the world's going on? You dealing with a team like Denver, man, and they got the best player, at least in the Western Conference this year. Now in the Eastern Conference, in the Western Conference you got Jokic, Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander. You know what I'm saying? Luka led his team to the finals. And in the Eastern Conference, you got Giannis playing out of his mind right now. And then you got, Jason Tatum for the Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying at the end of the day, the reason for this dominance is deeply rooted. It's not luck. It's not like, oh man, this is not a fluke, man. This is not a fluke. But like I said, man, they've beaten the Lakers 13 out of the last 14 times that they played against each other, man. And after that game last night, if the Lakers make the playoffs, that's the last team they want to face. That series will be over before it starts. Me personally, when they matched up, when they was about to square off in the 23 Western Conference Finals, I felt Denver was the better team. So I had them winning in 6 games. They wound up winning in 4. This same Denver team beat Phoenix in the conference semifinals. They beat them in 6 games. So I said, man, this team finna do it. Because I watched them play over the course of the past 5-6 years. And this was the team that I was really comparing our young core to their young talent at the time when Jokic was, starting to ascend, and Jamal Murray's were Michael Porter. This was the team I was looking at, engaging. But at the end of the day, man, this shit, that was real last night, boss. That was real. And it happened so fast. 25. So when you, like I said, the Hurricane, he turns 40 years old, man. He turned 40 years old. And Father Time is going to hit everybody, man. That's why when you sign a guy, an outsider like that, to a 4-year deal starting out at the age of 34, well, you're already running against time at that moment, because you're going to change your focus from really building towards a long-standing future to we got to win right now, and we got to win right now. And everything that you was trying to accomplish, that was, that was essentially casted away and then mortgaged off. So what I'm saying is you get what you trade for, man. You get what you trade for. And when you trade away your future, that's what's going to happen. So now it's this situation where, man, we got to do what we got to do. Because he got a short period of time. But realistically, man, he's not nowhere near the best player in the world. He's nowhere near that, man. It's all driven by these pundits and talking heads that want to, uphold this thought that, that he's better than number 23 in Chicago. That's what this is all about. That's what I said. Someone got to come up in here and say, this is it, man. The buck stops here. After this season, if they don't do anything, they don't need to make no more trade, because another trade will bankrupt this franchise going into the next decade. Another major trade, you ain't supposed to be trading for those superstars every 2 years. That's why the Russell Westbrook trade was so bad. Not because of Westbrook, it's because 2 years prior, you had just gave up the goods to get Anthony Davis. And then 2 years later, you trade for another franchise player, because Westbrook was a franchise player. You see what I'm saying? Two-time scoring champion, league MVP, all-time leader in triple doubles. That's a franchise player. So you give up what you gave up to get him. If they try to do that one more time and get a star player, man, they're done. They're done well until like by 2035. That's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at, boss. So it all comes down to the Lakers being realistic and saying, man, when you see a game like that last night, and I know people may say it's just a regular season game. No, man, this is where the regular season is important. It is of high value when you see a game like that and another team just come out the box in the second quarter, man, and just, shell shock you. Like shock and awe. That's basically what happened. Now, it was like they're training for Rocky. Now, he didn't say Excelsior. He said, Soya. And then Drago just went into beast mode, dog. Well, Mike Malone was their trainer. I'm telling you, Mike Malone was their trainer. And Drago was Jokic. And everybody else for Denver, dog. Soya. And I'm not trying to laugh, man, but if we had our real squad out there, we're not getting blown out. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But first of all, you drafted to such a point where you continue developing your team. Everybody going to know their role, at least by year 4. Everybody going to be deeply entrenched in their role on the team. But like I said, man, Jokic, he's the best center in basketball, dog. And it's the reason why he's won 3 league MVPs. That ain't no accident, man. His passing ability is really what separates him. His passing ability. But like I said, man, I wasn't trying to draw this video. I was just trying to do a breakdown. But it was good to see Russell Westbrook, experience that yesterday. I know he, his career almost ended over that experience. It almost ended, man. And he was thrown in the bus so much, man. He didn't know what hit him. So this is not a Russell Westbrook issue. This is not a Darvin Ham issue, because Darvin Ham was a rookie coach. Everybody knew it when they hired him. So you knew he was not one of the top coaches in the league. So why brown bag him? Because no other established coach wanted the job. They had to hire somebody. See what I'm saying? So I just want to drop that nugget, man. Like I say, man, Jokic, man, the Joker. They call him the Joker for a reason, man. He the real deal, dog. I enjoy watching him play. I enjoy watching him play, boss. But until next time, this is JB for BTB, Behind the Bench.